2025 has certainly started off with a bang. January has seen Nathan Jones and the lads seize momentum as we head towards the playoffs. The women's side are back after the Christmas break, and the under-21s and under-18s have been banging in goals of fun. Lots coming up. Here's what we got on tonight's show. We'll go through our top 5 talking points of the month. The transfer window is closed, and perhaps the best bit of business as the club could have done was to retain the services of Lloyd Jones. He's committed his future, so the coffee is on us. Our very own Charlotte Richardson went to find out how the centre-back is feeling following the good news. And this week marked World Cancer Day. On the 3rd anniversary of his passing, Sharon and Gary J tell the inspirational story of their beloved son, Ben. Yes, we'll be coming on to that a little bit later, but a warm welcome to everybody watching around the world. Delighted to say, got Stevie Brownie, Kev Lisbie, and Judith Chalmers. How are you, Judith?
You wouldn't have said that 20 years ago, would you?
I wouldn't have said that 25 years ago.
30
years ago, my goodness me.
But you said it in your commentary the other day.
I said it in the commentary. I was doing commentary on the Chelsea-West Ham game for PLP, Premier League Productions. His mate texted me saying, we're watching. So I gave him a little mention without name checking you, Curbs, because we know you get nervous when you go away.
We knew it was about me.
Little wink there as well.
Can we now say where you went? Now you've come back.
Yeah, you can say that.
Go on.
Went to Turks and Caicos.
And how was it?
It was lovely.
Yeah,
it was lovely, warm. With Johnny Hayes and Tim Hayes, Axis sponsors, and we had a great time. Couple of weeks. Back to the land of living now.
When did you get back?
Yesterday. Back to the land of living.
It was
life,
what,
-4.
The good life, eh?
27 degrees, wasn't it, every day?
Yeah, all day.
In the shade.
All day.
Brilliant. And look at him. Annoying
Glowing.
colour.
He's glowing, isn't he?
Mind you, he gets a tan even on the golf course at -4 anyway, doesn't he? Anyway, good to see you, Curbs. What have you been up to, Brownie?
Golf yesterday.
Knee okay?
Knees are great. I had my first round of 2025 yesterday down at Prince's. Alistair Bayliss, a little sponsor of the club. Give him a mention. Yeah, good day. 13 over, which ain't bad. I only played twice in 6 months. So not bad.
You know, it's always a pleasure to hear Brownie and his knee problems and how it's doing. It brings a joy to my face.
Yeah,
Well, there's a bit reason more that, wasn't it?
Didn't I see a picture of Rob Lee, that the player who can't get in the Hall of Fame?
He's whining about his one little knee replacement he had yesterday. He's whining about it already. I'm fed up with him whining about it.
Why are all you players getting knee replacements? What's happening?
I'm alright.
I mean,
I'm
alright. Curbs alright.
well, you only played about 40 games. And on, you're alright.
15 minutes subs, that's all I need, Brownie.
What have you been up to, Liz?
Nothing, just coaching, enjoying the family, enjoying the new year. It's been a good year so far for me and my family, so just enjoying it.
Yeah. You're not getting away at all?
I will do when my kids are old enough and they're out of the house, but at the moment we still got to manage them and make sure they're right. So
we just mention
let's mention these.
Go on, Liz.
So meantime,
Liz, yeah.
That's your sort of drink, you said.
I don't really drink.
are we going there again? Are we going there?
Okay, I will. Kevin only.
Meantime, our sponsors, thank you very much. Got the new one out, which is Black Cab
Stout.
Stout.
Are we gonna have a go?
Let's have a go.
Oh, it's nice.
There we go.
All right, Kev.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a challenge. We had to be good.
You thought it was a Friday night before a game.
So I thought it was a challenge. So
We're 17 again, aren't we? Down here one. Anyway,
The coaching picture.
Yeah, it's nice. No, we'll finish that throughout the show. Anyway.
It's on sale tomorrow.
It's on sale from tomorrow. So please, anyone who does come, and please do come and try and make the valley as busy as possible and as loud as possible as well. Don't forget, if you can, and if you're old enough, get one of these stouts. They are very nice indeed. Okay, well, the Valley behind us is getting ready for what is a very big game, of course, in League One tomorrow. Make sure you do set those alarms. Don't forget, it is an early kickoff. You're staying close by, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm with another sponsor. Even when I'm not working, I'm working, Scotty. You know what I mean? Hashtag minimum wage.
You're just an absolute Trojan. You really are.
And who's the sponsor?
That'll be Wayne Mumford, RSK.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and stay with Wayne tonight because, we're going to have a little, I'm going to say bite to eat rather than a drink, I think. Yeah, a little bite to eat. No, we're in early
He'll be
tomorrow.
playing, obviously.
Yeah. Can I just say, kids for a quid, please? Do you mind me doing that?
Crack on,
if you haven't purchased already.
Knock yourself out.
For a quid. Well, thanks for doing the show. Yeah. Always a brilliant opportunity to bring the little ones down. Worth popping into the Valley Superstore too. There's a whole kids section of items for just £1. And for any young addicts watching right now and in need of some new tools for school, you can buy a £5 pencil case and get a stationery set free. Head to booking.cfc.co.uk to get your tickets now. Should we get you a pencil case or what? Do we need to?
No.
It's all good. That'd be right up Fred Street tomorrow. That'd be right up Fred Street tomorrow.
Is Fred coming down?
Yeah, just me and Fred, yeah. He's been plaguing me while I've been away. We going Saturday. And I said, you've got to remember, it's 12:30, Fred.
Yeah.
Get him down.
He'll be up. He'll be up at 6.
He'll be
something
ready,
like that.
yeah.
Okay, before we delve into the main talking points of what is a busy time of the year, I've got to just show a very special and important letter recently received. Charlton TV viewers will know all about the annual PSA testing that takes place at the Valley. All of us have taken part, and that is thanks to the hard work of Head of Player Care, Tracy Leeburn, while many others, TJ helps organise the event and spread the word for sure. And in this letter, Nicholas explains how, from Nicholas Hill, wrote to Tracy and explains how he tuned into Charlton TV one day, where he lives in France. Having watched the show, he mentioned to his partner about how if he still lived close enough in person, not only would he come to the game, but get a PSA testing done on top of that. The conversation prompted Nicholas's wife to book him a PSA test, and the results showed a very high PSA reading, which led to a series of events. Nicholas, a lifelong addict, has since undertaken serious treatment, had his prostate removed, and discloses in the letter that he has every expectation now to get a clean bill of health and enjoy many more years of normal health. I quote here, "I would not be in this situation if Charlton TV had not mentioned PSA testing and my partner had not taken it upon herself to do what she did." I think it's fair to say, Curbs, isn't it? It's an incredible story. Wonderful to receive a letter like this, and we're so pleased that Charlton TV could play what is a very small part in keeping a supporter safe and well. So, on that note, our annual PSA testing match day is taking place on Saturday, March the 29th, ahead of the men's first team fixture against Huddersfield Town. Fans of both Charlton and Huddersfield are eligible to book their slot. Spaces are being snapped up. There aren't too many left. So please, if you are watching and you're over 50, I think that geezer there is a bit over 50, isn't it? Just
500
now,
weeks, 500 weeks he's got left.
Calm down. On a serious note, it could save your life. But yeah, do you think he's got 500 weeks now? You were told 1,000 weeks, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, but
A couple
he's
of years
had
ago.
17 holidays since then.
I know. They probably give him
Does that
extra
help,
weeks
or is
anyway.
it-
No, is he? No, not how he goes away on holiday.
But
Terrible.
On a serious note, please, even if it's not at the Valley, if you are over 50, please get yourself tested as soon as possible. Okay, well, what a month January was. Feels like the longest month of the year by some stretch. I heard the other day it was the hottest January on record.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't
Can you
it?
believe
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
He,
Well,
why
in
is he
England.
nodding? He doesn't know, does he? He was away for the half of it.
So you heard us all.
On the news today. That's where you heard it.
I don't know about that, but what a start it has been for all the teams pulling on an Addict shirt. Look, it is January, or was January, so let's talk about the January transfer window. 5 talking points we've got coming up. So the first one is the January transfer window. Notoriously tricky, as we heard in the director's Q&A that happened this month too. Nevertheless, we saw the squad trimmed. Tayo Eden made a permanent move to Peterborough. Terry Taylor, Nathan Asimwe and Zach Mitchell joins Northampton, Walsall and St Johnstone respectively on loan moves until the end of the season. Dan Potts has departed the club. Danny Hilton's contract has come to the end. He's still training with the squad and his situation will be reviewed soon. On deadline day itself, Romani Edmonds-Green made a move involving a fee to switch to Leyton Orient. Well, we had 2 new faces come in, both on loan. A number 10 in Alex Gilbert from Middlesbrough. And also a left-footed centre-back, Tom McIntyre from Portsmouth. So, Curbs, I mean, let's start with Alex, shall we? A lot of Borough supporters disappointed that he was sent on loan as they push for promotion to the Premier League, which kind of suggests we have a player on our hands, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's the sort of player that we need, attacking midfield player who can nick a goal. I think that is a department that we have been struggling in a little bit. But obviously Michael Carrick would have looked at it, and I think it helps, that we've got a nice training ground, a great stadium, and the player can come and get some experience and get some more games in, and we're the ideal club for that, I think.
Liz, you can see why the move has been made, can't you? Spark of creativity, different attacking option for Nathan as well.
Yeah, I've seen Gilbert play quite a few times. He was at Brentford B team with my son. So I've watched him play quite a few games. He's a goal scorer. He scores goals from midfield. Inventive. He likes to score goals. He likes to create goals. And I can understand why Middlesbrough loaned him out. And I can understand why it's a good move for us. I think he'll do well in this team. And I think, as Curb said, he's one of those players that we miss in our team. Someone that will get forward, someone that will try things. And I think that's a really good signing for us.
What's your boy said about what he's like as a character?
I know him. I've actually spoke to him. He's a really humble boy. He wants to learn. I think it suits him coming back down to London, if that makes sense. They normally work out when you go up north and then you get a loan move back down south where your family are. It normally works out, and I'm hoping it works out for him. He's a really good lad, and I have no doubt the fans will love him here.
Mm. And Tom McIntyre as well, left-sided centre half. That will add to the defensive line that we got, won't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was important. We did bring one or two through the door, and it was important for Nathan. I think we've spoken about trimming the squad that we got players out, particularly players that weren't contributing and need minutes, and the two that have come in need minutes as well. So hopefully we can provide that for them. But yeah, I think the January transfer window, they sort of did what they said they were going to do, bring one or two in to help out for the back end of the season and trim the squad down to make it a bit more manageable for Nathan, for players that weren't playing.
Do you see him coming straight in?
At the moment, not straight away. Maybe you would bench, but I think, as Brownie said, I think it helps having a left-footed centre-back to give you a little bit more balance. But at the moment, he probably has to fight for his spot, and I'm sure he's willing to do that.
Yeah, I think in terms of, if you looked at the results that we've had, it would be tough to let anybody in at the moment in terms of just putting him straight in. I think if you've got the shirt at the moment, you could argue that, well, we've had a set of results that would mean you think you keep it, but you never know, do you? You never know. They haven't come down here to sit on the bench. So.
When you think about it, as a manager and you're talking to the player, he's got to have some incentive that he's going to get some games.
Absolutely.
And, so perhaps, they have been told that, they may not go straight in, but they will go in. Yeah. The interesting one, because I was talking about loans, was Wenger. When Wenger used to let...
Does he come on loan?
Yeah. But when he used to let players out on loan, and there was a loan fee involved, every time you played that player, it took money off the loan fee. So there was a lot of pressure from the chairman or the CEO that if you took an Arsenal player on loan and didn't play him, then you had to pay all the loan fee. But the more you played them, you could get rid of the loan fee. So that was an interesting way of getting young players some experience in, at match days.
I'm sure with Gilbert, I'm sure he'll be in the side soon. I'm sure it's a matter of time before, as I said, he's quite different to what we've got.
Yeah, and he has been out injured himself.
Yeah.
So I think, he's back fit now, and he's had a few games in Middlesbrough's first team, but he has spent the first half of the season with a little injury, so he's probably not where he wants to be fitness-wise, so they'll have to look at that back at the training.
Yeah, he clearly needs to be managed physically, but he's not going to come from Middlesbrough to Charlton and drop a division and sit on the bench on a regular basis. Well, as well as all the incomings, Lloyd Jones has signed a contract extension, and we'll talk about that later, and the window overall. But first, here's the manager's summary of the January transfer window itself.
And you talked at the start of the January window about using it to streamline the squad and add quality. How do you assess our activity?
Well, look, we've definitely streamlined the squad. We've got it down to a real lean squad now, where we feel that everyone's going to impact and everyone impacts on a daily basis. Then any supplementary ones we use will be, promoted from the under-21s, from the academy, because we feel that they're not far off and need that exposure. So it's been a good window as far as that concerned. Have we added quality? Yeah, we do think we have. Both the players we've brought in, we would have liked to have added one more. I'll be brutally honest, we'd have liked to have added one more, but the opportunity didn't come, and we couldn't get over the line what we wanted to. So that was the only thing to come out of it. But apart from that, we're happy. We've done exactly what we thought, and it was really important. We didn't just take anyone just to fill numbers. As I said, I would rather dip into the quality that we have in the 21s and the academy. So yeah, we've effectively done what we wanted to do.
Done what we wanted to do, Branny. You happy with the sort of balance of the squad going forward as we push towards the playoffs?
Yeah, I think in terms of, Curbs is probably a better place to tell you, but it's notoriously difficult to do business in the January transfer window because, and then people go, why have you left it so late? You don't have a choice because you're waiting for the other team to get their player in to let you have the player that you want. So effectively, it's a knock-on effect, and the lower down the pyramid you go, the more you're left waiting. So. It's not as simple as people think, unless you've got millions of pounds to just drop. If you're a Birmingham or a Wrexham, you can get things done probably. But if you're us, you've been a bit patient. then you've got to wait for Middlesbrough to do their business and so on and so forth. So it's a tough window, I think, and Curbs, you'll back that up from your time.
And also, it's how attractive you are. If you're trying to sign a player permanently and you're not in the playoff areas, then they may think, well, we're going to stay in League One. We're not going to be a Championship side. So obviously after the season's finished and you know where you are, that's when you get the permanent deals done. But I think this club, I heard something that Nathan don't particularly like loans. But over the years, the loans of the Gallaghers and the Callans and people like that, there is so many big clubs around us, that you can take advantage of. And I suppose you could class Middlesbrough as one of them. And but it's notoriously difficult to get things done in the January window.
Nathan's talked about trying to get a lot of work done early in the summer, and you're right, he said he ideally doesn't want loans as well. What was your approach?
Depending on what situation you're in, and how bad you need to get someone in. And as I say, you've got to remember, I mentioned there about Arsene Wenger loan fees involved. So if you're a Premier League club trying to lend a Premier League player, they don't just want the wages covered, they want a fee as well. And even in the Championship, I should imagine that goes on. So it is difficult, but I think that's when the relationship between the clubs or between the managers works, And I was always keen to go on all them meetings when other managers would be, buy them a pint or something like that. Just to...
It's networking, isn't it? That's what we're doing all the time, networking.
Absolutely.
I tell the missus, we're not going out for a pint, we're networking.
So you build a relationship up with other managers, and then hopefully you'll help each other out.
It's changed though, hasn't it, since back in your day to how it is now with the sporting directors, CEOs, technical directors.
It's probably it's not manager to manager anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And you driving up the A1 or whatever, M1, and seeing a player on a Tuesday night.
Or intercepting one like I did on Jensen. I knew he was talking to Ipswich, so I got to the hotel first.
Expand on that.
Well, I was talking to Sam, obviously Allardyce, and he went, listen, he's on his way to Ipswich. And I went, is he? He went, yeah, we've agreed he's on his way to Ipswich. So I went, okay, do you know where he's going to meet? And he told me the hotel, and I got there waiting for him. And as Klaus, he thought I was George Burley. As Klaus come in, I went, you all right, mate? And I went, look, if it don't work out, I mean, it is a long way away from London, and London's got this, got that. Done the trick.
And it worked for sure. Did you do past Birds of the Feather House like Clive as well? In Essex. No. And Liz, got to say, congratulations to your boy too. I saw he made a move to Colchester. You must be very proud.
Yeah. I was just telling Curbs, he went there on trial as a 14-year-old, and they said, no, he's not quite ready. So sort of took him home, trained him again, and then we went back, tried to get his scholar there. Didn't quite get a scholar there, and 2 years later he signed a professional contract for 2.5 years. He's went to the B team and he's performed. He had a knee surgery. He's come back. He's got 5 goals in 2 games, but he's looking strong and ready now. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in League 2 now, especially my old club Colchester, where I done really well and we done really well as a club. What's up with you? It's one of the few clubs that scored goals. Let me take the credit.
Might as well done that. Yeah, I did really well at Colchester. I had a great time, scored goals.
He's not even mentioned the Liverpool game.
Not yet. I think we would get there.
Liz, I'm not joining in. Well done, mate. You did really well. I'm even proud. I don't even know your boy, but I'm proud of your boy for coming back. I love a resilient story.
Yeah. He's been rejected by Millwall, Colchester, Leyton Orient, and there's a few clubs in there, but he's put his head down, and fair play to him. And his brother.
You have played the percentage game, don't you, with your kids?
What do you mean?
You just kept going until one.
That's what I
got 5.
One of them has to make.
Okay, Granny. Before we move on, I have to say hats off to the media team as well. I saw a lot of love for the announcement videos, which plays a fun part in things for supporters nowadays. So well done, guys. Great stuff. Okay, let's talk about the second point of January, shall we? About under 21s. They were back in action this month and securing progress to the knockout phases of the Premier League Cup. Chris Lock's side responded to a disappointing, narrow 3-2 loss to Brentford with a thumping 6-1 victory over Cardiff. followed days later by a 5-1 victory at Ipswich. 19 goals in 5 games in total. And Curbs, you've seen a few already, and you're going to see a few more. Some lovely little finishes as well. Looks like we've got a good line of forwards to feed to the first team when the time is right.
Well, and obviously when you talk about under-21s or youth teams or whatever, it's all about, giving them the education, so hopefully they'll come through. But you've got to win games as well, wouldn't you? Apparently they don't count anymore, but as long as they enjoy themselves and knock the ball about,
they're developing in inverted
and then
commas.
suddenly they get a game in the first team. It's all about winning, So it's nice to see them knocking some goals in and getting the results.
Yeah, it is, and you're absolutely right. There's a bigger jump more than ever, because obviously we had the reserves back in the day, didn't we? And the jump from under 21s or under 23s to men's team is a massive one. But Brown, you've got to mention Jason Pearcey's under 18s too. 5-2 and 6-3 victories in the league as well. And I'm sure both you and Pearcey will be thinking, how do we get those clean sheets? But it's brilliant going forward.
Yeah, the game's changed, hasn't it? And we're just seeing clips here of how many times you see turnovers in the defensive third. So the game has changed massively in the last sort of 15 years in terms of where you press, how you win it back. And that, if you can win it at high up and in the right areas, it invariably, we saw a goal there where there was a ball turned over, just 2 defenders behind the ball against 4 immediately, that led to a goal. And that's one side of the game. And I do agree with what's just been said about it. The gap is getting wider, and clubs need to think about how they can lessen that gap back to what it used to be. But look, concentrate on what you can do, and the teams are in winning forms, and that's all you can ask for. That's part of development, is winning games.
Yeah, Tommy Reid made a number of saves as well, which kept the score down, including a penalty save as well, which is really good. Which, again, going forward, Liz, this is what you're all about, isn't it?
Yeah, I've watched the under-21s football a lot recently with my boys, and I think it gets to a point where you need to go and play some, whether or not it's step 4, step 5, whatever it is, have that competitive edge, wanting to win and also wanting to develop at the same time. You look at some of these goals, and as Brian said, like there are points where there's no defender there. There's 3 versus 1 there, so there's and I don't think that's as realistic as it would be if once they start stepping up and they start playing in the Cray Valley leagues and that. So, but listen, you still got to go out there and you got to perform, and you hope that someone's watching and someone gives you a chance. And I think my boy actually played 21s for 2 years, and he got his move through this. So I think there's a mentality you got to maintain when you're playing these games as well, and you almost got to believe someone's watching you every single time and doing the right things all the time.
I'm right in thinking as well, your boy won a penalty against us for Brentford.
Yeah, that was his first game back. I don't want to celebrate that too much because obviously...
You're out of order?
Yeah. Get him out of here. Why is he working here?
So you got to keep it like a little punch.
Yeah,
I love Charlton, but he's my boy.
Yeah. He didn't score, so it doesn't count. But he said it was a tough game, and Charlton are a tough team, and then, as you said, they've qualified, so that's the main thing.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about the third of the 5 points of the month we'll talk about. Squad goals. And Josh Edwards' strike against Bristol Rovers made it 17 first-team players to contribute league goals so far this season. That's the highest coverage across a squad in League One. And Curbs, how pleased will Nathan be that, obviously, last year it was all about Alfie. That this year we're not relying on one particular person. There's a lot of people who are stepping up.
I tended to think about departments more than individuals. So the forwards had to get 25 goals between them, on the midfield had to get 15, and the defenders had to get perhaps 6, and we had to score a certain amount of set plays. But yeah, it's great that we're not just relying on one person. The one area I would like to see us score a few more goals is set plays. I can't quite remember if we've scored one or scored one lately. Yeah, but I think that you're getting so many decent positions on set plays, and I don't think we look that dangerous. So yeah, but it is nice it's been spread out and not having to rely on 1 or 2 players.
One thing you notice there is 4 people in the box. There's someone's having a shot. I think last year we were getting these chances and there were 1 or 2 people in the box. Now you got 3. Look, if you look there, you got almost 4 or 5 people in the box, and it does help. It does help when you got a lot of bodies in the box, because sometimes it bounces down and and you've got the right person in the right place. So you don't necessarily have to be a goal scorer. You just have to be in good areas. Look here, I think there's about 6 people in the box now. So obviously that's something he's highlighted.
Well, you mentioned about the 18s and under the 21s doing the same thing, but it's important to take that into first team. The principles are still the same, aren't they? About getting
100%.
numbers in the box.
And that's about mentality. Even when you're playing and it doesn't seem to be difficult, you still got to maintain those standards. And if you do want to, as Bernie said, if you move from reserve team football to 21, you still got to have that mentality, because there is a massive gap now at the moment.
Yeah. And Brownie, to keep that sort of playoff push going on as well, we've got to continue to get the match winners. How do you feel with developing in the final third?
Oh, very well. Yeah, I mean, I said in commentary the other day that there aren't many teams in League One. We were starting Miles Leeburn and Tyrese Campbell as a front two recently, and off the bench we could have Kanu, Godden and Anike. And that, I don't care what you say, that is as strong a League One bench that you can have to change games. Now obviously Matty's come in and scored 3 goals in 3 games or whatever he's got, and then you've got people pitching in. I think that's a super finish. The more I see that, the more I think that's just on the day you commentate on it, and then you see it again. You think he's come inside on that right foot, accuracy, power. It's a brilliant strike from Josh Edwards. But I just think there's something within the team. We struggled early on in the season. We weren't particularly free flowing in terms of goals, but there's something about the team at the moment where whatever the circumstances in the game, we find a way. There was a 95th minute goal there, and it was Tiar Small. We'd had quite a few chances in that Shrewsbury game, but we just found a way to score it. I'm not sure we would have done in October last year. There's something about the squad at the moment that believes in itself a bit more, and it's warranting more goals. But we are, like Kev says, getting more players in the box, which makes a big difference.
And final one on this one, Liz, it's really important, isn't it, when you're one of a number of forward players, that you're ready to come on. From a physical and a mental point of view, you make yourself ready. Yeah,
I mean, when I was here, we had 5 strikers, and if you didn't start, and you even sometimes you weren't even in the squad, you still have to be mentally ready for your opportunity. And I think, as Brownie said, there's something in the squad now that everyone seems to understand, and there's a togetherness. So I know it's difficult for us players when you're not playing to obviously want the team to win and progress, but there seems to be something within this squad at the moment that everyone seems to be on board, and that includes the attacking players, which is really rare.
Okay, before we move on, let's take a look at this very, very interesting clip into a first team environment. The Charlton TV cameras got into the home team dressing room just after the Bristol Rovers victory.
Look, again, everything we said about that platform, basing it on what we do, outstanding. Defended the box all night. Few silly free kicks when we don't need to win it and things like that, but excellent. Could have been more, should have been more. But once again, absolutely brilliant all night. Defended brilliantly. Once we got the press right, I think you've won it first half. You should have scored more second half, but can't fault the effort, can't fault the quality and we did. And as I said, we showed once again what a good side we were. The mentality second half was brilliant as well. Game changers came on, impacted, bang. The energy and everything, because we put in big shifts there. But once again, wonderful. Ken, welcome back. Yeah, outstanding tonight, all night in terms of what you did. And I'll make sure we now can we go and hammer that home. That's a good month for us, January. What we wanted, right? And we've recovered superbly well from the Rotherham game. And we've shown what a quality, literally what character you've got, what quality you've got. And once again, based on that clean sheet, based on what we do out of the possession, outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Really, really proud of you. Make sure we do all the right stuff now, because then we've got to go to Blackpool. Well done, everyone.
Always interesting for fans to, who haven't seen that. We've obviously been in part of it. Is that a bit of you, Curbs? Did you
Ask the boys.
have that back in the day?
Ask the boys.
They missed a trick there, because definitely, certainly Kev, back in our day, Robbo would have gone, "See you Friday, lads." And he'd have gone, no, you can have tomorrow.
It's funny, really. Some people would say, "I wonder if he'd have got in the dressing room if he got beat." But it's funny, isn't it? Having
the answer's no to that, isn't it?
Having foreign people. It was like the playoff final. We had a man in there, didn't we, who was helping us with drinks and ice and whatever. And as I'm giving a team talk, I could see him looking at me, right, going, "Oh, I don't know about that." But at half time, I remember saying, I think we've got Sunderland where we want them. You know, we're winning, and they're a very open attacking team. We was a counter-attack, we could do some damage. And as I walked round and got in the dugout, they equalised, I think, Sunderland. And I remember saying to Keith, blimey, that was a good team talk. And I bet he's thinking, that was a good team talk.
The guy's shaking his head thinking, how is it?
I could see him at the back going like that.
It's always interesting, though, to see exactly what managers say nowadays. And, yeah, it probably wouldn't have happened after defeat. But, anyway, we saw that.
Well, there have been a few bleeps, I think.
Absolutely, for sure. OK, let's talk about the fourth talking point of this month, and that is the women's side returning to winning ways as well. Got to start with a massive congratulations to manager Karen Hills. The news today that she's won the Barclays Women's Championship Manager of the Month. Curbs, you must have voted for her.
Yeah, every time I vote for Karen, I have to put it in brackets. This ain't favouritism.
Not this time around.
I'll get a vote for the league managers. So, yeah, but obviously the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So she's won it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Fully deserved after being handed a trip to the Champions of England, which obviously was pretty tough. Chelsea in the FA Cup. Karen Hills' side returned to league action with back-to-back victories. Let's have a look at the goals scored to secure all 3 points against both Durham and Sheffield United.
Well, what finish that is that us?
That's a good little ding, that.
4G, that? I think that helped, but that's a great finish, isn't it?
Help just tee it up.
Yeah, little bubble, and then you just sort of dink it over the keeper. It's a great finish.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to receive a ball in that situation, but that is an excellent finish. And Curbs, look, on a serious front, it would have done a world of good for Karen and the girls as well. Each of the top 7 can count themselves in the title race. We're 5th at the moment. It's looking close again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to go right to the end, isn't it? And, I think we've been a steady team in the league. It'd just be nice if we can just gain that momentum in the final month or so and try and clinch the promotion. But I think the women's football, and I know that a certain person on TalkSport was criticising it recently, but the women's football's growing, and I think that the fact that they're playing on main stadiums as well has been a big impact. And we know it costs a lot of money to open up the stadiums, but with the fact that we've had a grant to improve the pitches so the women can play more games here and whatever, that's about right, isn't it? And I think that it's on the up, and I think the TV companies are putting more time, are giving it more games, more opportunity to see the team. So I think myself that it's definitely going to be on the up.
Yeah, it's growing, and we should all support it. But Brownie, we were close to promotion last season. How much do you feel just sort of falling short last season can actually help this season?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a bit of a tricky run, which we've now addressed, and hopefully if you have a strong finish, you can put yourself in position. But the good thing is that the league seems extremely tight, so no one's running away with it. My concern, as always, with all leagues, to be fair, the men's league's no different, but the women's league, you've got Crystal Palace going up last year, they're bottom of the Women's Super League, and you've got the top 3 or 4 that can spend 500, 600,000 on a signing. I hope we don't get ourselves in a position where it's not competitive. It's just about 3 teams, because that would be disappointing before you've even got going as 2 leagues. You sort of already sorted out into the top 3 of the top 3, and everyone else can just fight underneath, which would be a crying shame. You just want it to be a bit more competitive. If you go up as Crystal Palace, can you stay up? And you don't want to see the same team going up and down. Might have to put 2 up as well. I think 1 up's harsh. I think the same with the National Conference. That should be 3 up, not 2. And it's the same with the Women's League. It should be 2 up. And hopefully, somehow they find a way of addressing the gap, because there is a gap.
Yeah, we're currently 5th at the moment. The Bristol Blackburn Rovers game was cancelled. We are 5 points off Birmingham at the moment with that game in hand. So it does look like it's going to be very tight from here to the end of the season. Okay, the 5th and final talking point of January. None of us would have expected head groundsman Jonathan to become a star across TV screens and social media channels as well. But his expert handling of our corner flag during intense celebrations caught the eye of football fans across the country, whilst our Charlton fans were busy celebrating Tiar Small's 96th minute winner. Brownie, you were commentating on this game as well. It was some moment, wasn't it?
It really was, because I've got to be honest here that we thoroughly deserve to win this game. Shrewsbury, where they're at, they're in the bottom 4 and struggling. They've brought Gareth Ainsworth in, and it's a great catch, isn't it?
He didn't even look, did he?
It'd been better if he'd done a lightsaber move after it. It would have been great. But we just had to find a way to get this goal and get the 3 points, because a 0-0 would have felt like a defeat around the stadium, and I think that was crucial for everyone. Look at what it means. And actually, the cover then sung for about the next 6 minutes. Didn't stop singing. It meant an awful lot to get the 3 points, and we deserved the 3 points. But it did look like it was going to be a 0-0 because of the way Shrewsbury came, and they were just hell bent on not conceding.
He never got booked for that, did he?
I don't know, actually. He should have done, really, but I'm not sure if he did or not. But he is absolutely, without any shadow of a doubt, a heart on the sleeve guy. So you're not going to not get this reaction. He's not going to just walk off and be calm and cool about it.
Yeah.
No chance.
I mean, Liz, you have to say it's a great individual moment for Tiar, and we've seen him create some great opportunities as well throughout the month. He has spoken about trying to finesse on his finishing, so that's a great moment, isn't it, where composure and almost the last kick of the game and him scoring. Can you see him adding more goals to his game?
Yeah, it seemed just to fall into place for him there. It's bounced down lovely. He's able to get over it, and he's a good striker. And I think from that distance, they normally 9 times out of 10 go through the keeper's legs, or it goes to the side of him. I think he just had to concentrate on getting the right contact, which he did, and he worked so hard for the team. And I think sometimes he works too hard, and in those final moments, he seems a little bit fatigued. And if he could sort of manage the game a little bit better, he'll probably get more goals. But yeah, I think he deserves that for all the effort. I mean, I remember when he first came back into the team, and he was working really hard for the team. He was up and down. The quality wasn't quite there, but that also coincides with obviously not probably being fit enough. But yeah, he deserves that moment, apart from the end bit when he kicks the ball. Almost injured himself.
Good catch though, wasn't it?
Great catch. How big a moment is that for a manager though? You know, a tight game, he feels you'd be winning and you get it.
I saw all the subs run down there as well. You know, I think it was Miles and 1 or 2 others. You know, so it seems as if we've picked up this last month in terms of results, team spirit, momentum, and looking forward to games. And I think the big thing for the fans, hopefully, we're talking about, you know, tomorrow's game, they actually come in looking forward to it, expecting to get the result and get behind the team from the start. I mean, I don't envisage a big crowd, especially the Stevenage end, so it's going to be down to our fans to make the atmosphere. But we've got to try and build that bit of momentum and, you know, leading to the end of the season.
Yeah. Jonathan, great catch. Well done. Let's have a look at, we've looked back on January, let's have a look forward to February now and with the fixtures. And for the men's game, 4 games in February, 3 at home, Stevenage, Peterborough and Exeter. I'm actually at Exeter on Tuesday for the Nottingham Forest game. While it's the away game is pretty mouth-watering, Curbs, isn't it? You going to that one?
Well, yeah. I am.
Is that with Keith Birch and Mark Dennis?
It is.
Yes,
it is.
Well, I think we're going to go up on the Friday, me and Mark, and have a game of golf.
Forest of Arden, yeah.
And then stay with Keith and go to the game. I've tried to explain to Mark Dennis that, you know, what Charlton are about, but, you know, he's more Birmingham. But Keith lives in Birmingham, so he's right up for it. And, you know, we've done really well against the bigger sides, and there's going to be a proper... They're getting 27,000, you know, and... They've got the momentum, obviously, with the people in charge of the club and the money. They've made some great signings, etc. But I'm really looking forward to it because I think it's the sort of game that we can check ourselves out and think, you know, are we as good as these or whatever? And I think the atmosphere will be terrific. And we've responded against the big clubs.
Yeah, chance of a double.
Chance of a double, yeah.
I'm not talking about a drink with you and Mark and Keith. I'm not talking about a double for a drink with you and Mark.
Well, let me tell you,
Keith Birch.
You don't want to go out with the other 2.
I know. You're the sensible one out of those 3. Don't worry about that.
One's called Nut and the other one's called Clive.
But we're talking about 3 home games. That's the one that's going to define our month and whether we keep pushing for the playoffs, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I parked the Birmingham one and concentrate. I mean, this Stevenage one coming up, they're having a good run. They've beaten Wrexham away. The only defeat Wrexham have had this season at home, and they followed up with a thumping win against Exeter. And I think they've had 14 clean sheets, which is the most in our league. So this is not a pushover. So I'd concentrate on that one, and if we can get a result there, if we tight ourselves, you expect a really tight game. You know, in terms of when you look at all the statistics of it, and it's just finding a way to win. And if we do that, then you just bounce on to the next one. The Birmingham one is almost one where you just can go and enjoy yourself. If you've got the results building up to it, go and enjoy yourselves and soak in the atmosphere, give it everything. And if you get the double, you know, do a Liz, pat yourself on the back.
Any come back to that one? Yeah, well, no one will, mate. No one will. And there's only 4 games, so we'll have a bit more time to play golf, won't we?
Should do. I mean, I've got through that no problem. 18 hours, you know, I don't like to talk about it, but my knees were good.
Actually, I did notice you was walking up the stairs properly.
Yeah.
And not sideways.
Not like a crab.
I'm going to have to find something else to moan about.
I'm sure you will.
You'll find something. But Liz, again, you know, 3 home games, and you know, we don't want to just say that doesn't matter Birmingham, because we want to try and pick up points absolutely everywhere. But we talk about the importance of the home games. 3 this month. It's just amazing when the fans are coming and they're feeling, as Curbs was saying, there's something with the team that we're watching, and the fans are feeling that and bring that vibe as well. Yeah,
there is a togetherness, and I think these fans demand that. I think that's been missing for a number of years, and as you say, that the goal there, and the subs are running over to celebrate in the last moment, and I think that's quite important that we sort of bring the fans involved, get the fans connected, and where we are in the table will interest them now, so hopefully they do come. But I'm with Brownie. I think that Stevenage one is probably, I'm more worried about that than the Birmingham one. I think they'll turn up at Birmingham. I think that won't be an issue. Birmingham not blowing teams away. They're not winning 4 or 5. So I think if we, as Brownie said, if we get those results leading up to that, then I think that game I think that will take care of itself. I think Stevenage will be a difficult game, and hopefully we get that win and keep on with that momentum.
Yeah, even if we lose at Birmingham, we'll take 9 points. Win the home games for sure. Okay, there have been some real highlights from the month of January, but who sees it better than you, the supporters? Now we'll look back on the month through your eyes. That's brilliant, isn't it? Just going down well?
Oh, sorry.
What's happened?
You got
Please, meantime, can we get another stout in?
You normally give me a 5-second chance in a 5-second warning.
Do you want some of mine?
I normally give him 5 seconds. I didn't that time.
It must be good.
Yeah. He must have played it before. He doesn't drink
Spilled it.
I know.
Honestly. We need another one. We're about halfway through the show as well.
There you go, mate.
Cheers, man.
He's going to drink that?
Cheers, man. I won't drink that. That's just for show.
Brilliant footage that, wasn't it? Tell us about...
No, well, I was watching a game last week, the Blackpool game, with John and Tim Hayes, as I said earlier, Axis. And,
from Turks and Caicos, just in case anyone's joined late.
As when we scored, they both up like that. I'm sitting there with a guy called Russell, who's a mad West Ham fan, and he kept going third division. But when Charlton scored, John and Tim got up like that, like that, so that far away.
Brilliant, incredibly successful businessman, even like acting like kids. That's what we want to see, really, isn't it? How important is that kind of interaction? You know, and we see that as well.
Yeah, I think everyone's a bit fed up with being in League One, aren't they? So then we've got the first year I can remember in a long time where we're in January, clicking into February, and we're all talking like, if we can go and win this game, we're shutting down, we're closing down the gap to the playoffs. We haven't had that. And that's why you're seeing John jump out of his seat, because we've been in February going, I hope we build a better team in the summer. And that's I'm not slighting what's gone on. It's notoriously hard to build a winning side. But for the first time in a long time, there does seem to be, in the stands and here, and with you know, all our sponsors a little, yeah, do you know what, there's something about this team. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy to close it and get in there and stay in there, but we're fighting at the right end, which we haven't been doing.
Yeah, for the last 2 or 3 seasons, been sitting here and the season's been over, hasn't it? Or
Yeah.
even last season trying to get away from the relegation zone. Brilliant footage there, especially those late winner scenes. We wanted to continue your special moments on Charlton TV, so please do send your photos and videos. Send them through by email, fans@cafc.com, tagging the club's social channels. That's fans@cafc.com. Okay, ahead of kick-off against Bristol Rovers, it was announced that centre-back Lloyd Jones extended his contract, committing to the club for another 2.5 years. To help celebrate, we sent our very own Charlotte Richardson to treat Lloydie to a coffee. Very generous of you, Charlotte, and catch up with our vice-captain following the great news.
Lloyd, what a start to the year for you. It's the first chance we've had to speak to you after you signed your contract extension. How pleased were you to kind of commit your future to the football club?
Yeah, absolutely buzzing. It was going on for a little bit longer than I would have liked. But yeah, I've loved it since I've been here. I know there's been a few downs as well as the ups, but yeah, I'm just happy to get it sorted.
Yeah, I think I've spoken to you a few times kind of post-match and around the place, and you kind of said that Charlton really feels like home, and that's quite nice. And is it quite refreshing as well? Because that's not always the case for footballers when they make moves to football clubs. It's not a guarantee or feel that home way that you do it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've been on the move a lot in my career, especially like mid-20s. So finally to, you know, almost call it a home and settle down and yeah, commit my future for another couple of years is something I've always wanted to do. And Charlton's obviously a big club as well. And you see the stadium, see the fan base, and yeah, it just feels like home to me.
It's been such a sort of strong end to 2024 for you, and then you've started January with a bang as well. Contract extension, scored that goal against Bolton. The clean sheets are racking up as well. Do you want some more good news?
Yes, please.
You've also been nominated for the Sky Bet League One Player of the Month for January as well. You're second of the season. You have. Yeah, how does that feel?
Yeah, not bad. I dropped a stinker at Rotherham though, so
But you know what?
yeah, but I've recovered all right from that. So yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. So yeah, that's good news.
Oh, I'm so
That's
pleased
good
to tell
news.
you that news, because exactly that. Being a footballer, it's not always going to be every 90 minutes at exactly how you want, but you did respond so well. And it's testament really to perhaps like a lot of hard work that we as supporters don't always see as well.
Yeah, no, it's well, yeah, it's an honour to be nominated again. And yeah, so far I think this season's been a good season, and I think now we're really starting to climb the league as well, and that's the most important thing. So if we can keep doing that, and if I can keep getting nominated for Player of the Month, February, March, April, May, I'll take it.
It'll be nice as well, because obviously Miles won the December award. To have another Charlton player nominated, it shows the direction that we're moving in is a really, really positive one for individuals, but for a squad as a collective as well.
Yeah, definitely, and I think you're starting to see that with results now as well. I think we've only lost 1 in 11 games maybe, and obviously Miles was a worthy winner of when he won it. So yeah, if we can keep adding like good performances, yeah, and just keep it going really.
Well, the celebratory coffees are on me. Are you a coffee lover? Like, is this part of your routine on a match day to grab a coffee?
Sometimes. I'm addicted to them caffeine shots though before a
Oh,
game.
really?
Yeah, but I like it if I sit in. I like a cappuccino. God, I sound so boring now. But if I'm a taker, I'm a flat
Oh,
white.
there we go, right on cue. 2 cappuccinos. Thank you so much. What are the coffee shop things like? Are they like a sort of...
They just get me wired before a game. Yeah, I'm
Right.
taking that, and I'm like ready for the game.
Well, I remember speaking to you after the Bolton game, because I was talking, obviously lots of people acknowledge like the physical presence you bring on the pitch, the aggression, the front-footedness, sort of setting the tone for us defensively. But actually, like the footballing intelligence sometimes, when you've got the whole game in front of you, do you feel now that, you know, you are a senior pro, you've got those years under your belt, do you feel like your reading of the game has improved as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think that you can't really teach that. It comes from playing games, and yeah, it feels weird to think I'm more of one of the seniors now, but
I wondered if you were going to pick me up on that, putting you in that bracket.
I am starting to obviously that's like sort of a new role. I'm coming into that stage of my career, what I sort of relish, but I sort of don't like that. I'm getting a bit older. Actually, I'm still in my 20s.
You are. Wait till you're in my age bracket, you know, then you can really start to feel old.
But no, I'm just enjoying it, and you know, I'm playing regularly, and there's been stages in my career that I haven't done that. And that's when I'm at my happiest, playing regularly and doing well.
I think we're really fortunate at Charlton to have such a good leadership core, and I mentioned that in terms of the whole group, but I think both you and Greg are such outstanding examples of what leaders should be. And when I watch you on the pitch again, like you talk, you lead by example, but I've often noticed like you have some really nice moments where you kind of go up to your teammates as well, and whether it's a bit of a pat on the back or, you know, a bit more forthright, like, do you notice that as a pro, like, okay, that player might need a bit of a pick-me-up there, or I'm going to turn around and acknowledge Ash for that amazing save? Is that part of the game that you like as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously Skip, he brings a different side of leading. He's probably more of a talker in the dressing room or before, you know, if we do a huddle before the game. Whereas I'm sort of, I don't know, I'd recognise if it's maybe a younger lad, he don't need to be shouted at and maybe bigging up or boost his confidence in a different way. Where if it's like Luke Berry or someone like that, I'll give him a rocket up his ass. So yeah, it's just about managing different players. But you know, I think we've got a great dressing room, some great characters, some that have just gone as well. I'm gutted about, but that's football, and yeah, I think it's a really together changing room at the moment.
Great stuff, yeah. So you're not drinking, what's the matter with you? Great
What's
Charlotte.
happened?
And Lloyd as well. That was a little snapshot of the conversation. You can see it in full on the club's YouTube channel following the conclusion of this show. So tune in and watch the thing in full. Curb's a very good player, very good leader. It's important to be one of them. There's not many that has both those attributes.
No. Normally you get one or two, but it sounds like there's a few more in the dressing room. And I think we've been talking about the momentum. I think when that happens, that does start to come out in players, and you know, certain players have that responsibility in the dressing room, don't they? You've all been there around it, and yeah. So the way he's talking there, even the ones that have got, some of the ones that have gone, he's saying they were great lads, etc. So it sounds like Nathan's put together a proper squad.
Mm. He came out with a good line, didn't he?
Yeah, he made me giggle. Managed to get a couple of lines with him after the Bolton game, and he had a bit of a spat with Ian Evatt, you know, the Bolton manager at the time. And as he come off, Ian Evatt went, "You're a pub team, mate." And he went, "Pub team that's taken 6 points off you. Cheers for that."
That might have been a Robbo comment, but Robbo would have run.
Yeah, said it and then run.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, you know, I was going to say being a centre half yourself, but centre half, right back, centre mid, goalkeeper, pretty much everything.
I mean, you could probably do that, Lloydie. It's not an easy gig. I made it look all right. But yeah, no, look.
But in terms of, you know, that Charlton defence, how important is he going forward?
Well, I will say this. I do think we are more solid when he's in it. You know, he's one of those people, I think, that sets a standard and doesn't allow people to drop below it. And if they do, they had a bad day at the office at Rotherham. And this is kind of where you measure somebody. It was a bad day. It wasn't just him, it was everybody. But the back three in particular got bullied. And they bounced back very well at Bolton, against a good Bolton side. And you just get the feeling he drags people with him. I'm not accepting that. I'm not having it. And I'm going to make sure I go from a 4 out of 10 to a 7, 8. But he makes sure that everyone around him is that as well. And there's a couple of times this season where things have happened, and it's Lloyded at points. It's Lloyded that digs people out. And you absolutely need that in a team. It doesn't matter where it comes from. If you set a standard and you want to have success, you have to have people within the 11 that will dig people out and pull them with you. Because if you don't, you're just accepting mediocrity. And and I don't think Lloyd does.
As a manager, how much do you like that? Seeing your players do that?
I think the one that comes to mind is Kins.
Yeah.
You know, instead of hearing it from the manager all the time, you know, I could say to Kins, "Look, I'm not happy here." But instead of me steaming in, because I've steamed in too much, I think
surely not.
Yeah, every now and then. Right, but I need Kins to do it, and he was good at it. He was good at it, wasn't he?
Type of defender you would have a good battle against, Liz?
Yeah, I think, as Brownie said, he's one of those with a little bit of pride as well. So I think he's one of those, if you get in front of him and you win it, the next time he'll try and win it, and he won't shy away from the battle, which is quite important. I don't know as a striker if I like that, but as a defender, I'm sure he would like that physical side, and it's quite important to have standards. And as Brownie said, I think but it just sounds of it, he's got real good high standards.
Let's see who can be persuaded to join the coffee club next month. Get in touch. Which player would you like to see join Charlotte? Charlotte, you don't actually pay for these coffees and meals, do you? She's next door, so she can talk to me if she wants, but no. Right, okay, as we already know, plenty of goals to savour throughout January. Let's have a look at the goal of the month now, shall we? Perhaps the trickiest Chicken George goal of the month selection of the season so far. Let's see the contenders before we select the winner.
Comes down to Edwards, thinks about a shot. Edwards will go for his right foot, and it's a brilliant goal from Josh Edwards. Cutting inside on his own favourite right foot.
To Barton. Barton chips it over the stretching Saunders, and Charlton take the lead.
Sends it into the penalty area. Runners in now. One of them is a touch coming in, and it's Lloyd Jones. Rafferty drops by way of Godden. Trying to get a shooting position. Oh, that's a lovely finish. Paddy Godden, probably the goal of the game.
Okay, some crackers there, aren't there? We've got Josh Edwards, Kayleigh Barton, Kaheem Dixon, Lloyd Jones and Matty Godden as well. Curbs, do you want to go first?
Dixon, I think.
Dixon?
Yeah.
Oh, this could be the first unanimous.
Wow. So
Dixon.
I don't even have to get involved in this
Dixon.
one, I normally do.
It's Dixon, yeah. The only one.
What have you gone for?
Dixon.
Can I change?
You can, it won't matter now.
Yeah, I forget it. No,
Who would you have gone for if it wasn't Kaheem? Or you only saying you want to change?
To be honest with you, I don't want to change.
You just said that
I don't even think they're in the same.
You just said that about the centre half now.
Yeah, I feel I think that's a good. It's coming across, and he's used these laces, which is really difficult for and even an attacker.
Did you use your laces at Ipswich?
From 45 yards.
45 on the angle, 1-0 Premier League.
Bigger game, bigger.
Yeah. Off air, he was going on about it's not as good as my one at Ipswich. It's like, Kev, come on.
We'll have to try and find it. Can we try and find that?
We've got the Liverpool hat-trick if you need to see that again.
No, we're all right, thanks.
Okay, so Kaheem Dixon, you are the Chicken George goal of the month winner. Let's have another look, shall we? Who wants to talk us through it? Some strike that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's unstoppable, isn't it? I think the keeper can't do anything about it. It's fantastic.
To even attempt it from there, innit? Like, I think most people look to bring that down, don't you? And then maybe get a cross off or put it across the box. But look how wide he is there. To even attempt that is a great finish.
Some absolute crackers, but there was only one winner, unanimous, and that would have been mine, just in case it needed to come out with it. Okay, this week was World Cancer Day, and to mark the 3rd anniversary of Addict supporter Ben Jay's passing, CharltonTV went to catch up with his incredible parents, Sharon and Gary, who share his inspirational story with us.
Ben's my hero. I've always had a close bond with Ben, always. And I always knew when something wasn't right. And he had an amazing life, a short life. When Ben became ill, I knew that there was something drastically wrong. And I kept taking him to the hospital for 18 months and nobody was listening to me about how poorly he was. And never in a million years would I have thought it was cancer. I just thought he was dealing with something and it can be dealt with. But when Ben was finally diagnosed with cancer, it's like your whole world completely falls apart. It's scary, it's the unknown. The first thing that enters your mind is my child going to survive? But I kept that hope, and so did Ben. Then when we found out what cancer it was, the hepatocellular carcinoma, and they gave us the prognosis of, if chemo works, 5 years maximum. If it doesn't, 18 months to 2 years. But I still believed that he was my miracle child and he was going to survive. But little did I know that when your child gets diagnosed with cancer, that's every parent's fault. My child's going to make it, my child's going to make it. But Ben dealt with cancer and he faced cancer in the face and he wouldn't let it beat him. Everything they threw at him, he took. He was so brave. You know, I remember when he had to have the drainage tube put in because he was filling up with fluid. and we were sitting opposite each other while they was getting him ready. And then he put his arms up like that. I had his hands, and the doctor said to him, are you ready, Ben? And he just looked and he just went, I was born ready. That's brave. That's my hero right there. They offered us the immunotherapy, could give us 8 to 10 months. And he went, let's start that tomorrow, Mum. Let's start that tomorrow. Bravest boy I know.
When he was first diagnosed, we was put in touch with Tracy Lieburn and managed to get him to meet Jake Forster-Caskey, which is his favourite player at the time. Not long after that, we found out that Ben wasn't sadly going to make it. Tracy Lieburn and some other brilliant people at Charlton managed to sort of step up and make loads of memories for him. And they gave him the best 7 months, the last 7 months of his life. They gave him such amazing memories to take with him.
So that was the day that Ben was he was walking out on the pitch, and the night before, bless him, his legs were playing up and they were swelling because he started to carry a lot of fluid with the cancer. He was worried that night that he wouldn't be able to walk out on the pitch. And he kept saying, Mum, what if my legs don't work? What if my legs don't work? And I just said to him, let's just get there and we'll just play it by ear. And he was in his wheelchair. Tracy was pushing him through the crowd like he was a superstar. And then once they got there, he just literally got up out the wheelchair, and it was Jason Pearce, and he just literally grabbed him around the shoulders, and Ben just floated out on that pitch. There was nothing wrong with his legs at that point. He just glided out. He was in his happy place. Oh God, our very own Tracy Lieburn. Oh, I love Tracy Lieburn.
I couldn't thank her enough, to be honest, what she did, and the Charlton family as well. That includes the fans and that. They've been absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. They still are now.
Hi Gary, hi Sharon. Just a quick message to say a massive well done for the fundraising that you're doing. It just shows what amazing people that you both are, and keep up the great work, and I also can't wait to catch up with you both in February.
Thanks, Jake. When we played Stevenage earlier on this year, he said he's injured again with his knee. But he came over and took the time out before kick-off and had a good chat with us and some photos, didn't he? So Ben's flag, then he had a photo done Ben's flag.
Started with Jake, didn't it?
Yeah, he's an amazing fella. He's an amazing fella.
His football family organised a big charity match for Ben on the Sunday just before he passed, and I got him out the car and I got him in his wheelchair, and we was just picturing we was just going to see a few people there for this charity match. And as I put him in his wheelchair and started to wheel him through, there was just masses of people, so many people. And I remember he just said to me, he went, Mum, are all these people here for me? And I said, they're all here for you, fella. He was the only person in the room that night that smiled. Everyone, they was crying, they was upset, because we all knew this could possibly be the last time they was going to see Ben. There was a time when a couple of his friends said, Ben, can we have a photo done with you? And he had his oxygen mask on, and he pulled it off, rubbed his cheeks and done the biggest smile. That was his sense of humour. The end, when everyone was saying goodbye, his friends done an arch for him. And as we wheeled him through in the wheelchair, they was all singing, "There's only one Ben J, there's only one Ben J," and there was Ben. He was like that. When we got in the car, and I just said to him, I said, "Did you enjoy that fella?" And he said, "Mum, that was quality." And it's a mother's instinct. I knew that was his finale. He was done. He was tired. And he was ready to go home.
We first came across Young Lives vs Cancer, sadly, when Ben was in Royal Marsden. And they came and spoke to me and Sharon about how much support they can give us, told us how they can help parents that are struggling, and like we obviously had a long journey to go to Royal Marsden. Some people have a lot more of a journey than that. The money that we help to raise and that is to basically just to help families that are really struggling with their child that's going through a tough time at the time.
So when your child is diagnosed with cancer, it's a scary, scary place. And the last thing you want to worry about is the finances. It's the petrol, it's having to eat, it's having to still buy things, still pay the bills. And for like me, I had to go on statutory sick pay, so Gary was our main earner. We was an hour and a half away, but if you have a family that lives 2 hours, 5 hours journey away, then they are being pulled away from the rest of their family. They help you out with any benefits that you need, such as the carers allowance, the PIP, the DLA, but mainly it's for those families. They can put them up in a house for a couple of days so the family can be together. And it's so nice if you can just be in the hospital and worry about your child and what they're going through, rather than having the financial difficulty side on the other hand of it. You just need to spend quality time with your child, because you never know how long you've got. But when you've got the financial side of it hanging over you as well, it's terrifying. And that's where Young Lives vs Cancer kick in. They help all those families that need it the most.
The fans were absolutely amazing once again, just throwing in any loose change they had in the buckets, and we raised over £1,000 just from a couple of hours before the game. So again, we want to thank all the fans for doing that. And it was just so nice sort of engaging with a lot of the fans, and their support has been amazing for me and Sharon.
As Ben once said, tomorrow is never promised, and you never know what's round the corner. So just to give a little weeny bit, just to help another family out while their child is suffering, it means a hell of a lot.
Incredibly emotional, incredibly inspirational parents, Gary and Sharon, and I think we're all finding it difficult to speak here. We're very lucky to have had Jay here, Ben here in the Charlton TV studios, and he was a very inspirational young man, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was really humble, wasn't he, that day? And yeah, I mean, I've lost a good friend of mine. We know people that have been through the similar thing, but he looked so brave, didn't he? Knowing full well what the result's going to be, but he looked so brave and enjoyed every moment.
Yeah, an incredible person, incredible addict as well, and the Valley was described that it was his happy place here, and it was special to be able to provide that space for him, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think, it must be one of the hardest things for any parent to have to go through, and if this club can provide a moment like they had, knowing what was coming, then I think it's a special moment in terms of what the club can do for the parents, knowing what's coming around the corner. And it's the least any football club should be able to do for anybody that's in their fan base. But that should have come with a bit of a warning for us, because that's heartbreaking, if I'm honest with you. Sat there, and I've never known this studio in silence as one. We normally have a giggle off air. Yeah, and that was tough to watch.
And Jake Forster-Caskey as well, the role that he did, which a lot of footballers do as well, that you don't always see behind the scenes. So important.
Yeah, I expect nothing less. Yeah, he obviously gets credit for everything he did in those moments and making his finals day special, but I wouldn't expect anything less from any player, and it's something we do as a club anyway. I mean, there'll be thousands of stories where we've done similar things for similar parents, and yeah, just to see parents go through, probably that for me, that's probably the worst thing you can go through as a parent in such a long period. It would have seemed like a long period for them to see their child suffer, and yeah, my heart goes out. And as Brandy said, like we're all sitting in there silent, and just a little bit of appreciation for your family and for the position that we're in, and I'm glad that the club have contributed in making his final day special.
Absolutely, and Gary, Ben's dad, behind the covered end, he buys him a season ticket each year. It's an incredible legacy that young man leaves, and Sharon and Gary's fundraising efforts deserve all our support. If you would like to and are able to, please visit Young Lives vs Cancer. That's younglivesvscancer.org.uk/donate to donate if you can. Okay, let's round this all up then in terms of the monthly show. January window, are we happy with what's happened?
Well, it sounds like Nathan is. I think he streamlined the squad a little bit, and as he said, got the players in that he wanted. And I think that it's important that the players he's brought in feel part of it straight away. And you know, you have to promise them a little bit. But you know, whenever I brought a loan player in, you know, it was, well, you got a couple of games. You know, I can't just say you're going to play every week because I brought you in. You've got a couple of games, and you've got to perform straight away. So I'll be interested to see how it goes in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think windows will be judged. It's a tough one, isn't it? So I think the window will be judged in 3 months' time. If this team goes on and continues to win and ends in the playoffs, it'll be a great window. If you fall away, we could have done more. But ultimately, there is a plan in place, and that plan was not to overextend ourselves in January. And I guess, you know, we're not in there, so it's a very, very difficult month, January, to make signings. But I think it'll be judged more in April than it is at the moment. But all the team can do is continue to get results and push for that playoff place.
Well, we're only outside the playoff place on goal difference at the moment, Liz, so we're there or thereabouts where we need to be, isn't it? There's not going to be that many places in the playoffs we feel that other teams outside are fighting for, because you would say the top 3, possibly 4, maybe even top 5 are going to be that come the end of the season.
Yeah, I was looking at the table. It would be nice to see Leyton Orient and Charlton in the playoffs, which could happen quite soon. And I think we often speak about, I think Curbs has spoken about where you are in January and are you in and around it. And I think we're very much in and around it. And I think with the form, and we seem to produce in big games at the moment, which is really important, because if we do get in those playoffs, then we're going to have to raise our levels a little bit. And I think this team seems quite capable of doing it, so we're in a good place.
So what we're feeling about tomorrow, you've already mentioned it could be arguably the most difficult one of the month, so certainly it won't be easy anyway.
No, it won't be easy, and you wish you'd met them 4 or 5 weeks ago where they were struggling a bit, but they've had a couple of great results. But I think they've had to set up a certain way this year. They've not got the biggest budget, and I think they set up not to concede and then see where they can go from there, and it served them well. 14 clean sheets is good going for Stevenage. I don't imagine they're outside the bottom 5 for the sort of budget. So I imagine they're punching well above their weight, and they'll come. I mean, I don't know if you remember the game up there. It was exactly like that. It was 0-0, could have gone either way. Chuck Sneaky had a great chance to score with a 1v1 and missed. And if he'd had scored, we'd have won. There's no two ways about it, but he didn't, and they got us on a counter. Really good counter, actually, from one of our corners. Scored, and that was that, 1-0. They are good at seeing out games. They are good at staying in games, but we've got to find a way to get our noses in front, and that'll open up the game a bit, I think.
And 12:30 kickoff. It's an early one.
Yeah.
Don't forget. But how important is it that the fans do come down and carry on the great support
it's
they're giving?
difficult for the players as well, isn't it? A 12:30 kickoff, because the build-up's completely different, and pre-match is what would you have?
Breakfast, isn't it?
Well, I always have poached eggs. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But totally different scenario, isn't it? Kicking off at 12:30. Let's hope we
Not
take
chicken and pasta at 8 in the morning, is it?
chicken and beans. But let's hope we take full advantage of it.
Yeah. And final one. How's the drink gone down?
I didn't like
Bernie's done all right.
Yeah, my one was horrible.
No, it's nice.
You know what, I've done that as well.
all my glass was horrible.
No, actually, it's not my sort of drink, but it's quite nice.
Yeah, it is. It is. And if you do come down and you are over 18, then you are able to to buy one of these over 18 times 2 or 3. Okay, well that concludes this month's show. What a month it's been, what a few months it could be to come as well. One more sleep and it's time for another huge game for the Addicts. We said it at the start and we will say it at the end as well. Your support is so important during this crunch time of the season. Please do come and join us in the 3 matches of February. And if you want to make the trip to Birmingham and see Curbs in corporate, then I'm sure you can do that as well.
Maybe on the pitch.
Maybe on the pitch? Okay, interesting. But from all of us, we just want to say, Gary, Sharon, our thoughts are with you. Ben was an incredible human being and you will always be in our thoughts. Take care.